Alright, hey guys, today we're taking a look at the Super UFO Pro 8, a $50 Super Nintendo flash card with quite a few interesting features. Now, I know what a bunch of the comments are going to say. They're going to say a $50 Super Nintendo flash card, that has to be junk. Just spend all the extra money and get the EverDrive. For an extra couple bucks, you can get the EverDrive that plays the enhanced games too. And then of course there's the other crowd. Why get the EverDrive and get the SD to SNES? It's clearly the best flash cartridge out there. Nothing else is even worth buying. Well, this actually has some interesting features that you won't find in either any of the versions of the EverDrive or the SD to SNES. Let's go ahead and take a look at them real quick. On the back of the box, you'll see a few features advertised. The first one is save states, allowing you to save the game at any point and reload from that point. Second one is cheat codes. You can use your cheat codes anytime in game. And the third thing is it says it's compatible with most Super Nintendo games. That includes chips that use the Super FX chip like Star Fox. Neither version of the EverDrive can run those, and even the much more expensive SD to SNES can't even run those games. And on top of that, with the cartridge slot at the top, you can use it to actually back up your save files from any Super Nintendo cartridge, and even dump your games too, so you can play them on a computer if you wanted to. And as this flash cart doesn't have any built-in region locking, you can even use this to play import games that won't normally fit in your Super Nintendo. So is this the perfect solution for your Super Nintendo? Unfortunately, no. While it does have quite a few awesome features, it seems like they didn't actually focus on any of them enough to make them perfect. While yeah, playing import games does work perfectly, it still makes you go through a few menus. Why not have a quick launch option? And while it can run enhanced games like Star Fox, the UFO itself doesn't have any of those special chips built in, so it requires you to have a plugged in copy of a compatible game for the entire time you play. And it's really picky about these too, so you can't expect to run Star Fox 2 off Star Fox 1, and also I wasn't able to even run Star Fox 1 off Yoshi's Island. But running Star Fox with Star Fox plugged in works fine, even though it's a bit counterintuitive. But what this unit does really well is letting you actually back up your own data. The menu can be a bit confusing, but all you have to remember is SDC means SD card, CART means cartridge, and UFO means the actual UFO 8 itself. And SRAM refers to the actual save file. So when in the file browser, just go ahead and press start and then enter the name of your game, or you can simply press A and it will read the name from the actual game. One thing you'll notice is all file names are limited to 8 characters. That can be a bit of a problem, but if you're just backing up your games, it's not a big deal. You can usually tell one from the other. Alright, when that's done, it'll take us back to the menu. Now we want to back up our cartridge to the SDC. Unfortunately, we only have an option from cartridge to UFO, and from UFO to SDC. So we actually have to use two options if we want to back up our save file. As we already have two options that do what we want together, it makes no sense there's not a third option that does both in one step. And on top of that, when you get to the point where you can transfer your save data from your UFO to your SD card, if you haven't also dumped the game to your UFO storage, it won't know the name of the game that your save file is connected to, so it will make you type it in manually. It's a bit of a hassle, but hey, it works. Alright, so let's look at the first of the box's claims. It says it can let you save the game at any point and reload. So save states. Well, what they don't tell you on the box is this only works for games that have been dumped to your UFO. And even with that, it doesn't work with all games. It works just fine on Super Mario All-Stars, but it doesn't work on even a simple fighting game. The next big feature of this device is cheat codes. Just like with save states, it runs on the exact same system, a feature called Hyper Mode. Additionally, a Hyper Mode actually lets you slow down your games, which is pretty cool. But just as with save states, it can't be used on real cartridges and also only works with certain games. A way around this would be to dump the game directly from the cartridge to your internal memory, and then from there just go ahead and load up your cheat codes, and then you can play the game with cheat codes in slow motion, then just simply send a save file back when you're done. Is that annoying? Yes, but hey, it does let you try out the cheat codes without actually having any permanent damage to your cartridge's save file. And now lastly, the main reason most people buy this. How well does it work as a flash cartridge? Well, most standard games load up fine, but you will notice one small issue when you load up your game. You'll have no save file. Even if you named it the exact same 8-letter name as your game, it won't actually load up. You have to manually go back in and manually transfer the save file from your SD card to the UFO's internal storage. But once transferred, you can play the save file just fine. It plays just about any standard game I have just fine. If you're coming from an emulator, you'll have to convert your save files, but other than that, save files load up just fine too. The major issue is the internal storage can only hold one save file, so if you ever want to switch games, you have to manually back up your save file. That wouldn't be so bad except for the fact that when you back up your save file, there is no overwrite option. If you try to go over a game, even though the help menu says you can overwrite a file, you can't. So every single time you go through, you have to give each backup a new name. And if you think you can just simply type the same name over and over again to overwrite the files, well, think again. Just like a real Super Nintendo cartridge, the UFO uses a battery for the save files, but this one's much easier to replace. So if 5 or so years down the line you find a save battery has died, you can easily swap it out for a new one. On the other side we see the battery for the ROM storage. This looks like an older style rechargeable battery. It's only for the game's ROM, so even when it does run out, it's not a big deal. All you have to do is just re-copy the game from the SD card. As long as the button cell battery doesn't die, your save file will still be there. As for just using this device, some of the menus can be a little bit confusing, but after a while you get used to them. The music can get kind of annoying, but you can manually turn it off. And wait, is that the RoboCop music? Anyway, to use this device you'll need a FAT32 formatted SD card. I've heard some people had trouble with the higher capacity ones like 16GB and stuff, but I'm just using a standard one from a Nintendo 3DS, so it's 2GB and it works just fine. Alright, so final thoughts on this product. Yes, there are quite a few drawbacks to this thing, and no, it's not even close to being really a good EverDrive competitor, even on a budget. But it does have some advantages. Yeah, that being able to play import games in a low profile design is pretty nice, and much smaller than what it would be to use a Game Genie or something, even if it is a little bit floppy. And even with the extra steps needed to back up your save file, it is a way that actually lets you back up your cartridges to your computer along with your save files. You can't do that with the other flash cartridges. And third, it still plays backups. You could use this for fan translations, just play one at a time. If you're playing a long RPG, just play that RPG all the way through or get to a good point and then just back up your save file. You'll only be backing up your save file once every week or so. The battery lasts way longer than that, so it's not a really big deal if you just want to play 1 or 2 games. And that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it to back up my current games and just play 1 or 2 ROM hacks. So it actually really well fits what I need. So for me, this is actually a good product. For you, if you want to play your whole library, just get an EverDrive. It's a little bit more expensive, but much more compatible, much easier, no fussing with all the other stuff. But if you just want to play 1 or 2 games, or you just want to back up your games, or you just want to play imports, and you have the money to spend, I say this is still a pretty good option. It does what it advertises, it just makes you work a little bit harder for it. So if it does what you want, then maybe you should get one. Sure, I'll probably buy an EverDrive down the line in the future, but for now, this will actually do what I want. So alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, thanks guys so much for watching to the end. Sorry I couldn't show more ROM hacks or anything fancy like that, but all this stuff I showed was from my own private collection. Alright, so if you want to watch more videos like this, on the left I have my last video from this series, which was me reviewing the USB 64GB flash cartridge. Lets you play Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. And on the right we have a link to my playlist where I have more classic Nintendo FlashCarts, mods, and all that good stuff. So I hope to see you guys in my later videos, and I guess I'll see you all later.